Welcome back into another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast presented by FanDuel. Today, James and I are doing our very first mock draft of summer scouting. We've got a big enough board now. We've got a big enough sample size of players watched to agree with consensus, disagree with consensus, and kind of go at it a little bit. So we're going to pair 32 players with not 32 different teams, because some teams have 2 first-round picks, some teams have 3 first-round picks. So I don't have much else to say outside of on my website, daftondraft.football. I do have a full analysis on Harvard to TCU transfer quarterback Jaden Craig that you can keep an eye on there. I will have positional rankings on running backs up this week. And, taking the week off from summer scouting that we are this week, I'm hoping to catch up on some of the top players in this class instead of just going by position, and have a big board ready in the near future as well to publish on the site as well. Again, $8 a month, $80 for the year. And you can get all of my analysis there on daftondraft.football. But that's all I've got. So let's get into this mock draft. Let's have some fun. First mock draft of summer scouting. James, we have gone through a lot of position groups. I not every single one, but a good amount of them. So I feel like we got a pretty good grip here on what we're talking through here. So I'm excited about this, man. This is the first time we've done a mock draft since last year's draft, and I'm ready to roll.
Possibly the most thoroughly prepared for mock draft of all time. We've done about a couple months of film study leading up to this, but I think I have a good grip on at least 40 to 50 players to do a mock draft.
Yeah. So let's get into this. James is going to do odds. I'm going to do evens. The first few picks here seem a little self-explanatory, but we'll dive deep into this thing, James. Let's hit it.
Yeah, I'm going to start out with Arch Manning. I think that is going to consistently be my number one pick until we get some new tape, at least. Obviously want to see him improve the accuracy overall is my my biggest knock on his tape, but the pocket poise and the way that his anticipation grew, I think, throughout the year makes me really very promising for his future development. Yeah,
the pure pocket presence of him and his ability to find space and the core strength of throw off platform.
Yeah,
and evade sacks, a 4.5 athlete. Really just, that accuracy piece, specifically in the short game, because I think his deep ball's beautiful, but specifically in the short game, I think that's got to be cleaned up. And if it does, this is a no-brainer. So, all right. Second overall, Cleveland Browns. If they're picking second overall, they're taking a quarterback. There's no looking past it this year, and that's going to be Dante Moore. Again, Dante Moore, another lethally accurate quarterback, a pure passer in terms of the mechanics, ability to generate power through his hips in a timely manner. No hitches in his throws. Again, with Dante Moore, and this is going to define if he goes second overall or if he goes 11th overall, to be completely honest, is his ability to stand in the face of pressure. His worst games did come against his best opponents. His worst reps came against the blitz, came against when he was facing pressure and was sped up and put in a pressure cooker. So that's the element of the game that needs to take that next step for Dante Moore. But if it does, he's going top 2 this year. He would have gone top 2 this past year. I still maintain that. But this one here feels right at home for the Cleveland Browns.
Yep. I think especially if you've got 2 quarterback needy teams at the top, I don't see this top 2 changing up too much here. All right. So Dolphins at 3, and you could get into positional need here. Obviously, like they would need a receiver, and I think it's hard to turn down the the opportunity to get Jeremiah Smith. That's where I'm going to go. Like, I will at least say that, if Smith's off the board, maybe Dylan Stewart would be in play. I think he's a top 3 to 4 caliber prospect, and Leonard Moore as well. I mean, they've really got plenty of options here, but I don't see a better one than Jeremiah Smith.
No. And we probably have to have the conversation, because there's probably people watching this who are saying, you passed on Jeremiah Smith for Dante Moore. Like, I think the opportunity to pass on a quarterback is a privilege, and it's a privilege that the Browns or the Cardinals, in this case, if the Cardinals are picking 1 and the Browns are picking 2, a privilege that they do not have.
Right.
So you could be watching this and being like, you passed on Jeremiah Smith if you're the Browns or you're the Cardinals. Yes, because being able to pass on a quarterback is a privilege that these 2 teams don't have.
Yeah, totally.
That puts us in the position with the Jets here, though. Where's Lenore Sellers on this A to Z board here?
21.
21. I just think that even if Lenore Sellers improves even incrementally, man, he's gonna go top 10. He's gonna go top 10, and if he improves beyond incrementally, he's gonna go top 5, maybe top 2. For the Jets, also not in a position to pass on a quarterback.
They could try to swing back at 15,
but there's so many quarterback named teams ahead of them still, because like you could talk yourself into the Buccaneers or the Steelers, or like there's a lot of teams that like have QB uncertainty here.
Definitely.
That if New Orleans is picking 7th overall, are they committing to Tyler Shuck for a 3rd season, or are they looking for something like? So there's
I agree with you in general. We can say like you want to like not draw any more conclusions from draft slot. Like I feel like I'm kind of assuming that Tyler Shuck will be pretty good. Like we can.
Yeah, that's fair.
But in general, I mean, I don't think he gets past the Steelers, or if not the Steelers, the Panthers.
Yeah. So sitting here with the Jets, if they pass on Lenore Sellers, which I don't think I'm going to do here, the answer would be either Leonard Moore or Cam Coleman, I think, looking at their needs. Another team that I just don't think has the opportunity or the privilege to pass on a quarterback right now. I am anticipating a jump from Lenore Sellers. I think he's now in an offense and system that's not going to make him think too much. That's not going to force him to play as rigid as the Dowell Loggins and I'm blanking on the offensive coordinator who got fired, who had NFL roots before last year. He has pretty decent odds to win the Heisman on FanDuel at plus 3,500 as well, so they're not egregious. So perhaps the markets are indicating a potential leap from him as well. Now, in the Briles system, he's going to have some more freedom to spread it out and kind of play a little bit more to his strengths. So even an incremental leap, somebody's taking a shot on a 6'3", 240-pound quarterback with a howitzer for an arm and a 4.5 athlete. It's just going to happen.
And a big thing with Sellers is adding Jacarius Peak, assuming that he's able to get back fully healthy. Like that offensive line was Sunbelt caliber for the last 2 seasons. So just getting that up to average is going to be huge.
Right. And so that takes us to then the Tennessee Titans.
So Titans, it's really between Leonard Moore and Dylan Stewart for me. Leonard Moore is just such a clean prospect. Stewart, really the upside, the high-end flashes, I think are probably more enticing, but did get injured after the Oklahoma game, I believe. So had like the last 4 or 5 games of the season where he wasn't very productive, got shut down by Blake Miller. I think the first year and a half of his college career, though, he's the most like dynamic, juiced up edge rusher in this class by far. The bend, get off, arc speed is all exceptional. So I'm going to go with Dylan Stewart. After investing in Keldrick Falk this past draft, he's a lot more of the edge burner that they need.
Yeah, assuming his medicals check out, because he was playing through a pretty bad back injury. Dylan Stewart's exceptional, man. I'm really excited about him. All right, Raiders on the clock here. Raiders opted not to take a wide receiver for their new quarterback until the 6th round this past year in Malik Benson, who is more of a return specialist and a vertical shot than a receiver. So that is weighing heavy on my mind. Offensive line as well. Do you prioritize protecting that quarterback too? So the Raiders could go in a couple directions here. I do think they're going to go in a Mendoza insulated pick though here. So wide receiver, offensive tackle. One of those 2 positions insulates him. So we're looking at Cam Coleman here or Jordan Seaton here. I like both players. I think Seaton's still a little bit raw and a little bit sloppy in how he marries pass sets to quarterback step drop. And again, he's transferring schools now. He's lost some weight. He's gotten in shape. He's a really good athlete to begin with. So him making that leap wouldn't be a shock to me. Let's get Mendoza a top tier target here. Let's go Cam Coleman, who is a burner, a glider on the vertical plane. does a little jag in his route running, but I think does have some nuance there to refine that a little bit. Has the movement skills, the suddenness, double moves are immaculate, so has some violent hip sync there to continue to improve, even if he's not completely there yet.
Yeah, I like it. Saints, let's see. I think edge would be the Saints' biggest need. Yeah. Edge or defensive tackle. There are a lot of good defensive linemen here, but I think it would be Colin Simmons or Leonard Moore for me. Let's look at the cornerback room. Yeah, I mean, you could argue for both Quincy Riley, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Martin Emerson. I think Leonard Moore is a significantly better prospect than Colin Simmons. So I'll go with Leonard Moore here. Really, I mean, I saw like 2 plays legitimately that he got beat. It was pretty much smothering receivers at the line of scrimmage outside
Top receivers. Of that. Yeah.
I mean, Mekhi, he's the only receiver or only corner that really bullied Mekhi Lemon at the line of scrimmage like that.
Yeah. Steelers on the clock. Just drafted an offensive tackle. Have a young left tackle that they believe in, and Troy Fautanu as well. Have a decent interior. You can work with Mason McCormick. Zach Frazier's excellent, and then Spencer Anderson. You can work with that with Brock Hoffman also, and Jennings Dunker. They took this last year, even though I'm not bullish on him. This is the first team that I'm going to say needs a quarterback. Probably doesn't have the privilege to pass on a quarterback, but is out of the reach that a quarterback that I would consider in the first round the rest of the way out. Like there's no other quarterback. Could you go to the quarterback board real fast just to make sure I'm not lapsing in my judgment here?
Oh, Julian Sane.
No, yeah, definitely, yeah. There's not a quarterback here that I would take in the first round this year. Left on this board outside of the 3 that we've already taken. And so when I'm looking at the board and I'm looking at the Steelers' needs, I think wide receiver could be because Michael Pittman came over. Yes. How much of a long-term solution is that? If DK drops off, because again, when those vertical burners tend to lose steps, he does have the play strength to compensate a little bit. That could be a wide receiver could be a need. So this could be like a Charlie Becker spot here. But I'm kind of looking at their defensive tackle room. Derek Harmon, Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward is a dominant front. Cam Hayward, though, we're in the twilight zone. So I'm wondering, do they keep that dominant steel curtain front going here, and then immediately draft like a David Stone here to swap out Cam Hayward, throw in David Stone, and then you've got Derek Harmon, Keanu Benton, David Stone up front. Linebacker's also a big weakness. I think this is too early for Sammy Brown, who I would probably say would be the first backer off the board. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, like 8th overall is too high for Sammy Brown. You just took Leonard Moore. That's way too high for Zabian Brown, who's next up on the list there.
I think there's another corner that should be above Zabian Brown.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ashton Hampton.
Well, Ashton Hampton.
And so this makes me feel like let's roll out here. Let's go grab David Stone. Keep that front strong into the future beyond Cam Hayward. Let's get David Stone in Pittsburgh.
So D tackle is where I was looking to target for the Falcons. Could potentially think about maybe an offensive tackle, but I want to get ahead of the run here. So I like William Eccles as my DT1. It would be him or David Stone. So I'll go with William Eccles. He is such a well-rounded, balanced player. Young, really good athlete, but very technically nuanced and mature pass rusher. Sets up his moves really well. Really appreciate his game.
Yeah, he is rock solid. Even if he lacks like elite explosiveness, like he's got leverage to still work through the chest. It's right. Really fun to watch. Really fun to watch. Carolina Panthers. There's a part of me that just might be like, oops, another first round wide receiver. But if you look at their wide receiver room, It's not the worst opportunity in the world. Another team that could be quarterback needy by next season. Or do we get real fancy here? Instead of a receiver, go who I think is the best pure pass catcher on the board. Let me check their depth chart to make sure I'm not doing something stupid here. But there's a player that I'm thinking about plucking out right here at 10 overall. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Their tight end room is Tommy Tremble, Jatavian Sanders, Mitchell Evans. Would you go Charlie Becker or would you go Trez Green here? Because I think Trez Green is the best pure pass catcher left on the board, and so I'm gonna go Trez Green here to the Carolina Panthers.
So I would probably go a different route, but I'm happy that you left me Charlie Becker as an option here for the Giants. Could be a really nice pairing with Malik Neighbors. So I like that as option one. They need defensive tackle as well. That's a big need. Also need interior offensive line. I have not watched offensive line is the position I'm lightest on, so might end up overlooking some of those players. I mean, we can't do it here, but honestly, Colin Simmons falling this far, I feel like I don't see happening, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Charlie Becker.
Love it.
Want to see an expanded route tree and better strength through contact, but outstanding at the catch point, just has magnets for hands and really, really good vertical speed.
Love it. Love it. All right. Vikings secondary is where my eyes are coming here. They took Jacoby Thomas in the 3rd round. They took Charles Jennings in the 5th round. I don't think either of those players are stopping you from taking a better player if you're in the position. We could have the conversation about positional value here. Could you show me safeties? I kind of want to do something fun here, potentially. It's between 2 players here. And that's way too low for that player. My conversation here that I'm having internally is between Tay Johnson and Ashton Hampton.
Yeah.
Who I think are 2 tremendous football players. Again, these preseason boards are a little funky, so yes, we are reaching based on consensus, but we're going based off of like what we see on tape. Tay Johnson with Brian Flores, man. That their current safety room is Josh Metellus, who's a good player in a pretty reserved role, in Jay Ward. Also, James Pierre, Byron Murphy. Oh, boy. Would you go Ashton Hampton or Tay Johnson right here?
Those are the 2 that I would be deciding between. I think that Ashton Hampton is a lot has a lot more of the size profile that I would want to take top 12 and a more valuable and rare skill set, but I don't think you could go wrong with either.
Yeah. Flores corners typically don't have that like length component to them, like that size component to them. Oh boy. Let's go Ashton Hampton. Let's go Ashton Hampton. I was considering wide receiver too, but we just went on a pretty big run of wide receivers, and I'm not quite sure the receiver that I would take there would be worthy of going 12th overall. So yeah, let's go Ashton Hampton.
All right, so Bucks. We mocked the Bucks. Kenyon Sadiq all of last year.
Yeah, we did.
Should we start the Jamari Johnson to the Bucks campaign?
It's now or never, baby.
I mean, they got Ruben Bain. It would be nice to pair him with Colin Simmons. I feel like that's the Bucks are a very like best player available. Like, how do they fall to him in the 1st round type of team? So could definitely see Colin Simmons. Obviously good at tackle. So Jordan Seaton will continue to fall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Colin Simmons and just. I mean, it kind of snipes you with the Commanders, but I'm gonna go with best player available here and take Colin Simmons.
I was thinking Colin Simmons for the Commanders. I'll get a little creative here. So their wide receiver room is definitely an issue, and it would still be an issue if they add Brandon Ayuk, which I don't know how they can after how vocal he's been about wanting to join the Commanders. Terry McLaurin up there in age. Outside of Terry McLaurin, we're looking at Traylon Burks, De'Ami Brown, Antonio Williams, Luke McCaffrey, Jalen Lane. That's a brutal wide receiver room. But I could also get fun here and be like, yeah, first running back off the board, Jaden Ball.
Yeah.
I could have some fun here. This could also be a Jamari Johnson landing spot right now. Chigakonkwo, John Bates, Ben Sinnott are their top 3 tight ends here. Pass rusher, yeah. Oh boy, defensive tackle, perhaps. Let's go Jamari Johnson. Jamari Johnson right here to the Commanders. Upgrade a little bit from Chig, who's a specialized H-back move player. You need somebody to pair with that. So let's go Jamari Johnson.
All right. So the Jets, after taking Lenoris Sellers, top 2 options are on the board are offensive tackles, which they do not need. I think D tackle with Amari Washington could be in play there.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially Zabian Brown. I don't love I'm not really on board with him as the 14th best player in this class. Let's see. Are there any receivers? No. Yeah, I like the bet on Amari Washington better than I do Ellis Robinson or Zabian Brown, who I would be deciding between at corner. Although I would like to add a second, replace Nahshon Wright, but I'll go with Amari Washington here in the first.
The Bears. It feels like we're replacing Braxton Jones every single season.
Yeah.
So this could be a really obvious Jordan Seaton spot. There's a little something in the back of my head, like chirping though, that like Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson would be the duo to take Jaden Ball. Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson would be the duo to take Jaden Ball. If you offensive tackle though, we've talked about the supply and demand. If you need one, you got to take one. How much longer are we going to do this Braxton Jones thing? I just think this is the Jordan Seaton spot. So let's go Jordan Seaton to the Bears.
Yeah. That is the smart choice, I believe. Cincinnati Bengals, I'm tempted to take Sammy Brown here. He is fast, explosive, all over the field. Eyes are a little bit inconsistent, but I'm a big fan of Sammy Brown. He is 18th on my board. Good at receiver. Good at D tackle for now. Yeah, I'm going to go. I like Sammy Brown as the best option. Kingston Viliamu is a good player as well. Doesn't really have the prototypical measurables.
Love it. Yeah, Sammy Brown's a hoot, man. He's a ton of fun. All right, that brings us to the Jaguars. You never know what the Jaguars are going to freaking do, man. That front office lives on a cloud of their own in terms of their draft board. Running back, the obvious need. I've been trying to draft Jaden Ball a few times around here. So Jaden Ball's up there. Interior defensive line, Eric Armstead. I think we're hitting twilight hours there. And outside of that, we've got a pure nose tackle in Devon Hamilton. They did just draft Albert Regis in the 3rd round. They traded for Rook Ohorhoro. That room's a little light. Wide receiver, you could also convince me is light. The will they, won't they with Brian Thomas Jr. Jacoby Myers, very good pro when he's insulated behind other threats. what's the wide receiver board looking like here? This could be like Omarion Miller range to me. 18th overall. Ooh, Nick Marsh still on the board too. Omarion's a better athlete. Although if Travis Hunter's going to play some receiver, maybe they dip on that idea. No, let's stick with positional, like a little bit of positional value here, even though the Jaguars don't really. Man, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Oh. Amari Washington or Jaden Ball or this could be the Tay Johnson landing spot. Antonio Johnson, more of a nickel for them. Eric Murray. This is a fun Tay Johnson spot.
I was hoping you wouldn't. I was hoping you would forget about Tay Johnson.
Yeah, let's go Tay Johnson to the.
All right. Here. Can't keep him off for myself. Jets. I'm the Jets GM this episode. Lenore Sellers, Amari Washington, their first 2 picks.
I was deciding between a player you already took anyway.
So Ellis Robinson could be in play here. He is incredibly raw, but a freak athlete. Really kind of his level of play sort of stabilized over the back half of last season, his first year as a starter. Linebacker. See, I haven't watched most of these guys down the board, but I don't think they would really be in play. Let's go with Ellis Robinson. Just a young, talented DB. I think could play either nickel or a boundary corner.
Love it. All right, I'm doing it. Jaden Ball, Denver Broncos. Sean Payton's a madman. Sean Payton would do it.
RB4.
Yeah, that's wild. Right now, the running back room is J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Jonah Coleman, Jaleel McLaughlin.
All right.
I don't trust that. So, yeah, let's throw Jaden Ball in there.
Dallas Cowboys. Could go with I'm thinking Ahmad Hardy or potentially a receiver, trying to go back and forth between my board to make sure there's nobody falling through the cracks here. I kind of like Ahmad Hardy to the Cowboys. I feel like we mock them a receiver constantly, or I mean a running back constantly. So yeah, let's go back-to-back running backs off the board. Assume that he gets back to full health here.
Right. That's the big caveat. All right. The Texans. I mean, we just got to keep going back to the offensive line well with this team, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, Braden Smith is a good player when he's healthy. That's been few and far between. Plus short-term deals for him, short-term deals for Wyatt Teller, which Wyatt Teller's a guard. I'm not looking at any guard right here either. Rutledge plugs it at center. Trevor Gooseby can play left or right tackle, and so can Ariante Ursary. Feels like they can figure something out there with those guys. This feels like the Trevor Gooseby landing spot for me.
Yeah. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go with KJ Bolden here. Really explosive, balanced safety, exceptional tackler, quick trigger in the run game. Doesn't have great size, but he gets downhill with a ton of ferocity. So I trust him in both phases. And not quite as like dynamic of a playmaker as Tate Johnson, but a really well-rounded player.
Yeah, I think that's a good little pick there. Can you do me a favor and go back to the quarterback board real fast? The Lions picking 24 here.
Yeah, Julian Sand is still available.
Still not picking any of those guys. And honestly, like of the guys listed, the player that I would be maybe most interested in taking a leap would be like Nico Iamaleava, to be completely honest with you. But I'm not doing that
over
right now.
Drake Lindsay.
Drake, I like Drake, man. He just can't move at all. So it's a hard sell. It's a hard sell.
Nico played actually pretty well down the stretch last year.
He did, and he's got some high summer grades around the league too. I think we're shooting the from the hip too early on Mestamaker. Honestly, like Trinidad, I wouldn't rule it out this late in the first round even.
Mestamaker,
I know he's 5'11".
I agree with you. It's not even about shooting from the hip too early. I don't even see the traits with Mestamaker.
Yeah. He's accurate. He's a decent decision maker, but like, yeah. To me, like the arm talent, it's like the tools wise, it's like Kenny Pickett-ish almost. Like the arm's better than but it's not much better than Kenny Pickett.
He has a flexible arm, I think, but not really a power arm.
Yeah. So for the Lions here, I mean, corner is going to continue to be the obvious need. They just released Terrion Arnold today as well. We're talking DJ Reed. We're talking Rock Ya-Sin, 2 journeyman guys there. DJ Reed has had a lot of success with the Jets, though. Keith Abney, but that's more of a nickel for you. And they just brought in Roger McCreary, too. I mean, we got to talk corner here. Boy, that board is barren. I know you like Kelly Jones.
Not this early.
Not this early.
I like Kelly Jones as Kelly Jones is my yearly like comp somebody to Xavier Rhodes, but complimentary.
Yeah.
You know, like just he's really scheme specific. He can't mirror route breaks.
Yeah. I watched Chris Peel as well, and I think 55 is too high for him.
Have you watched Bryce Pollock?
No, I haven't.
I've not watched him, but I've seen people really like him.
Lutmer feels like too much of an intersection between
these two, DJ McKinney and Jamari Sharp in this range. I don't see it all.
No. Can you scroll down the board to see if there's somebody maybe buried a little bit down here that's actually good? No, there's not. There's not. All right, so we're not going corner. Boy. Okay. Let's go.
Well, I mean, there's like Xavier Brown, I don't think is terrible at 24.
We could
you're lower on him.
Yeah. He just can't run. I mean, DJ Wanham is slotted to start opposite Aiden Hutchinson. We could go back to the edge pool here and drafted Derek Moore.
That is 56. Yeah, I guess not.
Can you show me the edge board real fast? They signed Peyton Turner. They drafted Derek Moore. I don't see any of those guys as like legitimate starters opposite Aiden. DJ Wanham, absolutely not.
Yanze Pierre.
Yep, that's it. That's gonna move. Yep, Yanze Pierre to the Lions.
All right. So the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, it looks like they really need a tackle.
Mm-hmm. Boy.
Oh. Okay. So Austin Sierreveld is a guard. Caden Green is probably a guard. I need to
Carter Smith is a center.
Yeah, Carter Smith is a center. Trevor Locke is probably a guard. So good start there. I need to go check back on Caden Green because there were a couple games when I was kind of like keeping track. I know you're not a fan. He impressed me a couple games last year, but I need to do a more thorough eval. So wide receiver, potentially another option here. What is my next? So my next, I've got a tier of 3 with Ryan Coleman Williams, Junior Sherrill, and Bryant Wesco. Let's just say that Ryan Coleman's drop issues stabilize a little bit. I still have issues about him playing through contact, but I think at pick 25, like he's a dynamic enough route runner, incredible salesman, somebody that can really create his own separation and doesn't need Andy Reid to like scheme him up on a pop pass or like some kind of trick play down the field. So let's go with Ryan Williams.
All right. New England Patriots. Can you show me the offensive tackle board?
Yeah.
They just drafted Caleb Lomu. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we just did this. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I guess it would be like Nicky Prongos is your...
Yeah, even him, he's really stiff.
Yeah, he's not a first round.
Powerful, but
talent.
Yeah. Show me edge rushers again. I know we just had to scrape to find Yanze Pierre down there a little bit, but...
Well, I really like Will Held. I know you're a little bit lower.
Yeah, I don't love the edge either. Held would be fine. Mateo's not a first-round player.
Yeah.
Damon Wilson's not a day 2 player. Anthony Smith's not a day 2 player.
No. Prince Will is not a day 2
not
player.
Not a day 3 player. Do you know what? I don't love the board at all. So part of summer scouting is projecting a little bit as well. And I don't even know if this player is in the simulator, to be completely honest with you. But I'm going to project a little bit. Tight end room, Hunter Henry, Eli Raridon. Eli Raridon is a pretty decent inline threat here. Hunter Henry coming down the end of the season there, down the line of the season. Is Ethan Davis even in the simulator?
No.
Pull Arliss Boardingham.
We'll go with Arliss Boardingham.
Arliss Boardingham as Ethan Davis here to the Patriots, 26th overall. And again, that's projecting quite a bit here, but the tools that Ethan Davis has, man, are fantastic.
I'll think up a projection pick as well. Might not do it for this one, but 49ers here.
Oh, I should say Ethan Davis from Tennessee.
University of Tennessee. Ethan Davis from Tennessee.
Yeah.
I can, having like vibe scouted him just watching Tennessee games, I can vouch for him. 49ers obviously need a tackle. So I can, having not gotten into the tackle class, I can tell that this might be a rough patch unless something drastically changes. So could also go with an interior offensive lineman, which there do seem to be plenty of. Safety, linebacker. I mean, Austin Seerveld, I do think is like a fringe first rounder as just a guard or center potentially. He's going to play guard for Ohio State, correct?
Yes, sounds like Ian Moore is playing left tackle. He's going to kick to right guard.
Let's go with Austin Seerveld. We'll talk about him more in depth. I think we actually broke him down when we like covered guards midway through last year. But he's a really good player. Just doesn't have measurables for tackle.
Right. So I'm happy he's getting a full season of guard tape, man. Thrilled about that.
You had mentioned that like during the year that's what was like the best thing for him long term.
Yeah. Ian Moore's supposed to be pretty good too. Left tackle. Who's going to play left tackle for Ohio State? So we'll see about that. Can you show me the defensive tackle board here for the Chargers? We've got Dalvin Tomlinson, again, a vet near the end. Tier Tart kind of has bounced around the league a little bit. Jamari Caldwell has hung around, is a solid player. It feels like they've got a bunch of like depth pieces that they're plugging and rotating. If there is a high end guy, I know you like Ahmad Moten. I don't see first round tools. I'm not. Oh,
there's somebody I like more than Ahmad Moten.
Justin Scott. Yep, right here, 28th overall to the Chargers. Yep.
So I should have taken Justin Scott instead of Amari Washington, but I realized a couple picks ago that he was just so far down on the board. That would have been my pick for the Ravens. I don't love Ahmad Moten in the first round, but he is a decent day 2 pick to me. So who is the center? Who's the Ravens center? Danny Penter. So,
Brock Riker, baby. Cade Piper's on the board. You got to take Cade Piper.
Could go. I mean, we could go with a Cade Piper, move him to center.
He's going to play center this year.
Oh, is he really? Perfect.
Yes, he is.
All right. Yeah. It's not like it's not nowhere close to as big of a projection as Ethan Davis, but I don't think he's really that close to a first round prospect right now. He's got to fill out a lot more, but that's going to be my projection pick is Cade Piper balls out at center.
Okay. So I have a pick in mind here, but just to short up, could you show me the linebacker board?
Yes.
So we got Ernest Jones, we got Drake Thomas, we've got Jake Thomas, even though he's undersized, he started for him in the Super Bowl and he played pretty well. Kingston Viliamu-Asa is not a bad shot here for the Seahawks. Let's stick with my original plan of attack, though, and I'm looking at their wide receiver room, and I see Jackson Smith-Njigba returning NFL Offensive Player of the Year. Awesome. Rashid Shaheed, awesome in his own regard as a vertical threat and kind of like manufactured touch guy. Beyond that, Cooper Kupp, Jake Bobo, Torrey Horton, and then some like projections, big time projections. Let's get some size in that room, man. I think this is a good Omarion Miller slot. I love Nick Marsh too. I just think Omarion Miller is a more pure vertical athlete, a pure ball tracker in a room of like pretty small receivers. I know Cooper Kupp's 6'2", but that he's never played like an X role. So I'm gonna go Omarion Miller to the Seahawks there.
Well, that's perfect for me because I am going to go with another receiver with some vertical juice and size, Bryant Wesco. Another kind of, bit of a projection pick because I don't think that his profile is currently like 31st best player. Might be on my board, but with a season fully healthy, improve his play strength a little bit, I think he can definitely emerge to this level.
Love it. Love it. And that rounds us out here. This should be the Cleveland Browns, right? Let me make sure I'm not tripping.
Yes, I think they probably haven't updated this.
I'm almost positive this is the Cleveland Browns because of the Myles Garrett trade.
Right.
Yes, it is. It's the Cleveland Browns. So disregard if you're watching on YouTube. This is the Cleveland Browns. They went Dante Moore first overall.
Second.
Wide receiver, offensive tackle were two positions they hit this past year. They could double tap on wide receiver, even though they double tap this past year on with KC Concepcion and Denzel Boston. The offensive line is constructed in a way where they can pull out a piece each year, but they put themselves in a position where they don't have to overhaul the whole room every single year, which is a good place to be. I don't think we need to stress offensive line, even especially because we've looked at the offensive tackle board quite a bit here. Jared Verse, Alex Wright, pretty good starting duo. Malik Collins coming down the end of his career, so perhaps defensive tackle. Perhaps corner. Oh, this is one that I really don't know what to do with. My inclination here is just to go first round wide receiver again, because outside of Concepcion and Boston, we still have Jerry Jeudy, probably not on the team next year. Cedric Tillman, probably not on the team next year. Isaiah Bond, TBD. And then beyond that, it's Tylan Wallace, Malachi Corley, Gage Larvidan, Jamari Thrash. So I think we're in a position to go wide receiver again. So if you could show me that board real fast, I think I know what I'm going to do here. Nick Marsh would overlap far too much with Denzel Boston as a big body physical presence. Ryan Wingo would be good here. What I'm leaning towards here, two names here, Junior Sherrill or Mike Matthews are the two names that I'm kind of toying around with a little bit here. As the Z slot guy who can complement KC really, really well, allow them to move him in and out. So Sherrill or Mike Matthews? Sherrill's
I like both.
Yeah.
Mike Matthews is impressive.
He's very impressive. Another University of Tennessee projection pick that I could make right here. It makes me sound like I'm a Tennessee fan. I'm definitely not. Boy, Matthews is a better athlete on the vertical plane.
Yeah, Sherrill's a little bit more put together.
He is. Let's go upside. I do see Cheryl Moore as like that second round wide receiver that a team uses. Let's take the upside shot here on Mike Matthews here to the Cleveland Browns at 32nd overall.
All right.
There we go. So there's your first round. All right, James. Favorite pick here. Let's drop
my favorite pick, Ashton Hampton to the Vikings. Just a shutdown press corner. Love that. Love the Bears getting Jordan Seaton at 16. That is incredible value. And then hometown connection, Trevor Gooseby to the Texans. Another really good value there.
Yeah. Can you scroll up for me? I wanna see here what we got going down. Will Eccles to the Falcons. Really, really strong pick there. Charlie Becker paired with Malik Neighbors is really fun as well. There. Sammy Brown to the Bengals. We kept mocking Sonny Styles over and over again to the Bengals until they traded out of pick 10, and Sonny Styles didn't even make it to pick 10. But Sammy Brown to the Bengals is a really strong one too. I really like that. Cade Piper to the Ravens as well. Cade Piper to the Ravens. Yeah. Replace one Iowa center with another one.
Yep.
Love it. Awesome. Well, that's our first mock draft of the year.
First
mock draft of the year. Again, this week we are not doing summer scouting. We are taking a little bit of a break to catch up on our boards a little bit here, get back into the rhythm. I know I have a trip coming up in a couple weeks as well. So just trying to get some bearings and work ahead a little bit. So not doing summer scouting this week. If you've been following along, we've got position after position after position the past few weeks. So you can tune back to those and listen to those. But this is our first mock draft. Turned out pretty well, I think. Again, summer mock drafts are always hit or miss because there's always risers. There's always fallers. It is what it is. But that's kind of where we sit here as we stand. So, James, I'm really excited about it, man.
Yeah. Going to get into some college football 27 ratings analysis.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow.
Love it.
I've watched every single like CFB 27 dynasty like stream from all the people that get it early. I'm pretty pumped for that game to come out.
Love it. That's what we'll do tomorrow. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Some CFB rankings, where we think they got it right, where we think they got it wrong. It is going to be a fun and tricky conversation to navigate because there is a difference between being a very good college football player and an NFL draft prospect. So we got to kind of put on a different hat there and throughout those conversations. But yeah, man, that's all I got for today. You got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, until next time, this has been another episode of the Daft on Draft podcast. See ya.